Back at it on Game On across the Sunshine State, Orlando, Jacksonville, Tallahassee. Thanks for making us part of your afternoon. Segment brought to you by Bananas Axe Cabana. Laid back, spacious, great vibes. Book them today for your next axe throwing session. Phenomenal news, Mike. We are streaming live on YouTube right now and on Twitter.
Oh, wow.
I have figured out the issue. I told you that before the end of the hour I would have this thing sorted out, and here we are. And we'll see if it's coming across the way that I hope that it is online. If you are following along with the video feed and you want to provide some feedback for us, let me know. But according to my calculations, we're doing good over here. So I'm very excited.
My algorithms say that, yes, we are definitely online at this particular moment. Although, Kravitz, I don't see you anywhere on the YouTube screen.
Well, you see, I had this button called I had this button called loop clicked, and so it was just playing his intro video in a loop, Michael. So Paramount Plus saw a major spike tied to UFC's White House card. Downloads were up 276% versus the prior 30-day average. This thing, while we disagreed with its happening, no denying that it was a massive success for UFC. This was a big win for Dana.
Well, I never criticized Dana White for doing it. I mean, it's great for his business. Great for his business. I just don't think it's great for the business of democracy.
The business of democracy is under siege as it is. All right. That's not the only update for you I got, Mike. I also have a World Cup update.
Time now for a world-class World Cup update with our international soccer expert, Brandon Kravitz.
That's me. That's me coming to you live from the center of the state, the center of the soccer hub of this nation. If you ask me, it's me, Brandon Kravitz, reporting to you live as your lead soccer analyst, your connoisseur of all things international. The more worldly the sport, the better versed I am. Now,
Are you going to go through the introduction so you don't have to actually show your lack of knowledge of the sport?
I have a limited amount of time, Mike. I cannot handle your interjections at this moment. It could have been billed as Superstar Day in the World Cup. Three of the biggest names in the global game were making an impact as their countries began their campaigns. Did they disappoint? No, they did not. Lionel Messi made the biggest splash, scoring a sensational hat trick as Argentina cruised to a 3-0 win over Algeria. Mbappe.
It's Lionel Messi, not Lionel Messi.
It's like Lionel Richie. Mbappe and Holland, the player, not the country, were on a rampage as well. They scored twice as France and Norway recorded commanding victories as they are seeing crystal clear 2020 in Group I. Get it? Moving on, today, Austria took the air out of Jordan 3-1, and the world's handsomest man, Cristiano Ronaldo, and his Portugal squad squared off with Congo. They drew another draw. What is going on in this tournament? Two more to get to today, England and Croatia, Ghana and Panama, and good luck stopping Kusanov and Uzbekistan as that legion takes on Colombia down in Mexico City. I'm Brandon Kravitz. This has been your World Cup update, and I have no idea what I'm talking about. You feel educated? Properly
50.
Educated?
I thought you were going to get into the controversy of the Norway team and their imagery, their Viking imagery. Little controversy.
Is there?
But you as the ultimate soccer insider, you knew that.
Definitely. So are we gonna get into a world where we talk about changing the name of the Minnesota Vikings? Is that the road that we're traveling down?
Maybe,
We've got more Game On the way. We've
20.
got Nick Whalen from RotoWire.com who will be joining us to talk all things NBA in a moment. Grade the Take coming up in the 4 o'clock hour, and Whit Watson's preview of the U.S. Open. We're back with that shortly. Right now, let's pause for a moment and chat with the talented folks over at Fox Sports Radio. Back in 60 seconds.
Hit it perfect.
Yeah, I would have been out like 30 seconds ago.
Thank you, Mike. I'm all jazzed up now that this video feed is working.
Yeah, it's cool.
Now, are you guys going to stream on Friday too now? Since you can?
No, just because we're only going to be on for a short period.
Yeah, I guess you got a point.
Is Nick on? I can't hear it.
No, we
you were previewing that.
Yes.
I'm nervous about taking my new laptop out of the house. It's so nice and so new. I don't want anyone to touch it.
You finally got a new laptop?
I bought a laptop.
What?
Yeah.
What?
I wanted my own personal laptop in case they fired me one day.
Obsession with the NBA.
They fire you, just take the laptop.
And if you bring up
they
a pick and roll,
confiscate that
you
stuff.
might be here for a while. He's Nick Whalen.
Good luck trying to get my laptop.
Yeah. You have to break in. Every Wednesday at this time, we welcome in my favorite hoop head in the continental U.S., Nick
right.
Whalen from RotoWire.com. You can catch him on the Fantasy Sports Channel.
You don't sound right?
I sounded weird at the beginning. But
it's because you came in super hot.
Yeah, that's because you came in hot and he turned you down.
Oh, gotcha. We went through the I was just yelling. That was the problem. Of all time. The greatest
no. That was my fault. I always forget the brick is so hot.
Gotcha. Like the Jalen Brunsons and Patrick Ewings of the world. I'm talking
right
about
now. When you talk, you're loud.
And just know that you did make the list. Some tough competition. Really? St. Nicholas Cage, sure. But Nick Whalen did make the cut.
Nick, you were just a tad below Nick Saban. Okay.
Okay. Did Nick Richards make the list? Nick Collison, Nick Van Exel.
Nick Nolte was a popular one as well. But let's talk about those New York Knicks with a K. They're the champions of the 25
renewal here
season.
Yes.
If you had to encapsulate what will be remembered most from this team, the DNA of the squad or the story that got them the title, what do you think will be, if you had to write the headline of the program for the New York Knicks, what would it say?
Yeah, I think a lot of the credit, rightfully so, is going to go to Jalen Brunson. There's been a lot of legacy conversation for him in the last couple of days. But I think this team, you probably have to go all the way back to, maybe 2014, that Spurs team that won the title. It's like, yeah, they had Tim Duncan. Yeah, they had a young Kawhi. But those were a bunch of different players of those, or a bunch of different versions, I should say, of those two players at their peaks. But I think you have to go back that far to find the best image of a true team coming together to win a title. When Jalen Brunson was the finals MVP, put up 45 in a clinching game. It's not like this was a wire-to-wire dominant series by him by any means. I mean, there was a game where Mikal Bridges stepped up and played really well. Cat was probably your finals MVP through 2 games. Through 4 games, it might have been OG Anunoby. I mean, this is a really, really fun team. I think it's great for the NBA that this specific Knicks team was the one that broke through. These guys all have big personalities. They're all a lot of fun. They also like very normal people by NBA player standards. And you talk to players on the Orlando Magic. Granted, I've been in NBA locker rooms. Most of these guys, they feel like they're above the common man. I don't really get that with the Knicks. They're just a really fun group. And I think to see Hart and Bridges and Brunson, what they were able to accomplish in college, to reunite and then do that on the NBA stage. I mean, there's so many storylines coming out of the finals. The fact that this group, which won multiple titles together at the college level, came back together in the NBA and did it again, I feel like that's almost become a little bit underrated. I don't know if we're ever going to see anything like that in the future.
It's so true, and that aspect of it is probably not discussed enough. Would you be willing to lay the wood with them to repeat as champions next year? It feels like they are among the last 9 champions that have been 9 different teams. They might be, outside of the Raptors, the least likely team to go back-to-back.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring that up. We were talking about that on VSiN earlier this week. The Knicks just capped off this captivating run, but also a statistically dominant run. I mean, like the numbers say this is one of the most dominant, if not the most dominant team that we've seen in the playoffs in recent NBA history, and yet they don't even have the shortest odds in their own conference to win the title next year. It's one thing to put the Spurs and the Thunder ahead of them, given what we know those teams are capable of and what they look like during the regular season. But I kind of agree with it, to be honest. This was a team that felt like it caught fire at the right time. The Knicks played, their best 15 games of the entire year at the best possible time. It almost felt like a team getting hot, in a March Madness run or something like that. So I think it's totally reasonable to look at this Knicks team, to give them all the credit they deserve for winning the title, but not just anoint them and say, okay, they're going to run the Eastern Conference for the next 5 years, because I don't really feel that way. I really don't. Boston is going to be there, but what gets interesting, Brandon, is, outside of the Celtics, what other team in the East right now are you looking at and saying, okay, that's the team that will challenge the New York Knicks? I don't think I'm really there on the Indiana Pacers. Both Detroit and Cleveland, to me, have a lot to prove after how they look in the playoffs. Obviously, Miami is that team that could totally shake things up, and we could be talking about a completely different roster by the time we get to October. But the Eastern Conference, to me, some of these teams that we felt were right there with the New York Knicks at the start of the playoffs, I don't think we feel as good about them anymore.
Nick, how do you explain 8 different NBA champions over the last 8 years? Is something happening in the league strategically, roster building wise? Why do we have all of this parity all of a sudden?
Yeah, another interesting point, man. And I actually went back and kind of traced some of the preseason odds for these last 8 champions. I tweeted this out the other day. So we have a ton of parity, of course, in terms of teams that are actually winning the finals. But it's not like the NBA is wide open. Like every single team, with the exception of the 2023 Denver Nuggets, all of those 8 teams that won the finals were in the top 5 or the bottom 5, however you want to phrase it, in preseason odds. So it's not like these teams are completely coming out of nowhere. I think, and maybe this is a cop-out answer, guys, the single biggest reason for this is the amount of superstar injuries that we continue to see in the playoffs every single year. I mean, you could go through the list. You can look back, and, injuries impact the postseason, I think, more than we remember, once all the dust has settled. But even just this past season, I mean, so many teams that we felt really good about ended up dealing with these major injuries that derailed them. And I think that starts with OKC. If Jalen Williams is fully healthy and playing like the Jalen Williams, second-team All-NBA guy last season, I don't think the Spurs are even in the finals. And I think OKC probably goes on to beat the New York Knicks. And we can go down the list, right? I mean, AJ Mitchell was hurt, Luka, Reeves, Anthony Edwards, Kevin Durant, Joel Embiid, Jason Tatum, Franz Wagner for you guys in Orlando. I think the fact that the season is as long as it is, the fact that these injuries just keep popping up, that's part of the reason that the playing field has been leveled. You can even go back to my Milwaukee Bucks guy in 2021. The single greatest sports moment of my life. They got past that Brooklyn Nets team, but there was a reason for that. They were very injured.
Also, Brandon and I have had a little bit of a disagreement on the image of Wemby. I think he came off as a real brat during the finals, whether it be, elbowing Nas Reed or, shoving Jalen Brunson in the face or not shaking hands after the series. He just came off as sort of an arrogant brat. Do you think his image changed during these finals?
I think it did. And I wouldn't go as far as to say now everybody just looks at him as an arrogant brat by any means. I think the fans in New York probably do. The fans in Minnesota perhaps view him that way. But it was a pretty stunning reversal, right? Because I think heading into the finals, we were ready to anoint Victor Wembanyama as the face of the league. And, it was almost a little Giannis-like, minus some of the corniness that comes with Giannis Antetokounmpo, where it was like, man, this guy is just built to be the face of the league. He's super likable. There was really no reason other than maybe him being too dominant physically at times. Like, it's just tough to poke holes in the case for why you wouldn't like Victor Wembanyama. We hadn't really seen that side of him, right? And I think initially it was kind of spun as, oh, this guy's so competitive. Maybe he'll take it a little too far sometimes, but we like that competitiveness. We loved it with Michael Jordan. We loved it with Kobe Bryant. But when you're stacking up 3, 4, 5 of these instances over the course of the playoffs, and then, walking off the court without shaking hands at the end of the finals, that's relatively minor, but it adds to the general narrative. I think it shifts. I think it shifted. I think the way people look at Victor Wembanyama, especially people who've watched the NBA for a long time, I think he's going to have to earn some of that back as he goes forward, and he likely will. He's still young.
Also, your Bucks aren't going to accept that pittance of an offer that the Heat are offering for Giannis, are you?
That's terrible. How could they? It's crazy,
Guys,
Nick.
I've told you this for like 2 years now, Brandon, that it all depends how much Giannis and his camp, who, if you believe some of the reporting out of this, are at the table in these discussions. I think that's the term that Brian Windhorst used in his report this week. It depends how much Giannis is going to put his finger on the scale, because the Bucks could sit here and say, no, we're not taking that offer. We're taking the best offer. We're selling it to the highest bidder. I just don't know if they can do that. We see this every single time, it feels like, with these superstar trades. Guys have cachet with the organization. Giannis maybe has more cachet with the Bucks than any player does with any team in the NBA. If the Memphis Grizzlies had the best offer, I don't know that they would send him there. I think they want to do right by Giannis at the end of the day. They want to find a landing spot that works for both, of course, where Giannis wants to go there and it's a fair offer. But if Giannis ends up saying, look, I want to go play for the Miami Heat, you need to trade me to the Heat. We've seen this play out before, and maybe the Milwaukee Bucks would have to accept that offer. I'm not fired up about it. I've been trying to tell all my friends, like, look, this is going to happen at some point. We're probably going to be underwhelmed by the return. But I also think that's the case for most of these superstar trades. You rarely look back and say, oh man, that huge haul of picks turned into a bunch of future Hall of Famers. It doesn't really work that way.
Hey, I know we got rid of Giannis and we got Tyler Hero, but we did right by him. Put that on the program for the Milwaukee Bucks fan.
Yeah.
All right, last thing for you, Nick. We got the draft coming up on Tuesday. We'll get a recap from you on Wednesday from round one. The NBA, starting last year, split the 2 rounds for some reason. But anyway, this is a highly hyped draft. Bonsa, Peterson, Boozer, this is what teams have been tanking for all year. How hyped are you for the draft? And is there a guy that you are planting your flag on? You say, regardless of where he goes, I think that guy's going to be a great NBA player.
Yeah, I'm fired up, guys. And I'm very thankful that the NBA is doing a Tuesday, Wednesday this year for some reason. I feel like it's usually been Wednesday, Thursday. I'm leaving Thursday morning for a golf trip. So luckily we're going to get this out of the way. I'm as fired up for this draft as I've been for any draft in a long time. I've kind of compared it to I think it was 2020 or 2017 draft. That was the Markelle Fultz, Lonzo Ball, Jason Tatum, Josh Jackson, De'Aaron Fox, and then, of course, the number 6 overall pick, Jonathan Isaac, to the Orlando Magic. And I think you could go even deeper. And, there were people that were really fired up about Lauri Markkanen, rightfully so. People love Frank Ntilikina. People love Dennis Smith in that draft. Like, you're going 9 deep, where you really felt like, okay, the bulk of the lottery is going to produce a really good player. And that's before we even get into Donovan Mitchell and Bam Adebayo, who went 13 and 14. So I get kind of a similar feel about this one where, we have, 4 prospects, I think, at the top who could reasonably be the number 1 pick in a lot of drafts. And Boozer, Peterson, Bonsa, and Caleb Wilson. You have this really fun second tier of all of these kind of smaller guards, but very different players, and Wagler, Acuff, Fleming, Murray. So I'm fascinated to see how it plays out. I'm really, really fascinated to see what happens with Darren Peterson. The feeling that I get now, guys, less than a week out, is kind of similar to the Paolo draft, where even like the moment the telecast started, we did not really know what the order of the top 3 or 4 picks was going to be.
Jeff Weltman, that was he still his claim to fame, his ability to juke out Adrian Wojnarowski. That was quite the move. Nick Whalen from rotowire.com. You can catch him on Sirius and on VSiN. Nick, we'll catch up with you next week, my friend. Enjoy the draft and the U.S. Open this weekend.
Will do, man. Looking forward to it.
Up next, we are headed back to school. It is time to grade the take. We're going around the horn right here on Game On after this.
Game On with Bianchi and Kravitz.
The best baseball teams always have a strong closer in the bullpen. And when storm season hits Florida, you need a strong closer protecting your home too. Renewal by Anderson's Acclaim Impact Windows are built for the big leagues when it comes to defending your home against Florida's toughest weather. These impact windows are designed to handle high winds, flying debris, and relentless humidity while keeping your family safe and comfortable. They're also energy efficient, which means your AC doesn't have to work overtime during those scorching Florida summers. And unlike traditional vinyl windows, Renewal by Anderson's Fibrex material is built to last without warping or cracking. Right now, they're offering major storm season savings. Buy one window or door, get the next one 40% off, plus zero down, zero payments, 0% financing for 1 full year. Upgrade your home before the next storm warning hits and enjoy peace of mind all season long. Restrictions apply. So whether you're in Central Florida, the Gulf Coast, or in Jacksonville, visit bestwindowsflorida.com. That's bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free in-home consultation. License number CGC 1527613. Renewal by Anderson, where comfort meets quality.
You're going to get caught up in some typical slowdowns starting to form on the major roadways this
We got
afternoon. There's
Trajan as the
also,
next live
couple
read. I'll be right back.
accidents that might tie you up on I-4 eastbound before State Road 408. The left lane's blocked. There's a crash on I-4 westbound before Central Florida Parkway. That's off to the shoulder. 429 northbound at US 192. There's a crash off to the shoulder getting cleared up. See traffic troubles? Call the Valvoline Instant Oil Change Traffic Tip Line at 866-676-8477. From the Traffic Center, I'm James Birmingham.
For over 40 years, Gomez Plumbing has built a reputation for reliable service and honest workmanship. Whether it's a simple repair, a leaky faucet, clogged drain, or a complete whole home remodel or new construction, no project is too big or too small. My wife and I asked the Facebook page in the community that we live in for some suggestions for a good plumber when we moved out to Longwood, and the first and most frequent name that popped up was Gomez Plumbing, and boy was my community right. Very few things as reassuring as a homeowner than having a plumber that you can count on. But they don't just service my area, they service yours as well. From everyday plumbing fixes to major renovations, the experienced team at Gomez Plumbing is ready to get the job done right the first time. And when you call, Haley or Kimmy are going to be there to help, making sure that you have all of your needs met with friendly, personal service every step of the way. Choose the name that Central Florida has trusted for generations. Schedule your next service with Gomez Plumbing and let that stress wash away.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One,
is coming Heart Radio app. Bianchi and Kravitz better grab their pen and paper because they're headed to school. It's time to grade the tape.
I got.
All right, Mikey, Jaden, grab your ruler, grab your number 2 pencil, and your abacus. We're headed back to school. It is time for Grade the Take, one of my favorite segments of the week. We grade on quality. We grade on heat. We grade on accuracy. We go around the horn and back again. Jaden, Bianchi, and myself will all deliver takes, and the other 2 will provide the grades for that individual. Guys, I have gone full first take mode, so please pardon me. I will get us started here. This is one that I've been sitting on. It is about the Dallas Cowboys, though. The Cowboys are winning the NFC this year, not the Rams, the overhyped LA Rams. The super team never does the thing that we think the super team will do. The Super Bowl champion, unless you have Mahomes or Brady, they never repeat. So we're not going to get the Seahawks either. The Lions, what about them? A little too flimsy on defense. Do you really trust Jared Goff late into the postseason? The Packers are too banged up. Micah Parsons isn't going to play for a couple of months. And the Eagles can't throw the football. Who's making it out of the NFC? Dak Prescott, one of the best quarterbacks in the conference. He's got the best receiving duo in the conference in CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. And their defense has been quietly building into something that could actually be kind of special. They drafted Caleb Downs. They drafted UCF's Malachi Lawrence. Remember, they traded for Quinnen Williams last year for the interior of the defensive line. There's always a new champion of the NFC East. I predict it's the Cowboys, not just winning the division, but they beat the Rams on their way to a Super Bowl. And after the Knicks win the championship in the NBA, the Cowboys make it to the Super Bowl in the NFL. ESPN will die a happy network. That's my take.
That's a heat wise. I mean, that's an A plus as far as the heat of the take. I mean, that is a hot take. There's no question about it. A bit outlandish though, for it to be A plus overall take, because accuracy has a lot to do with it. And although you made a decent case for Dallas's offense, the fact that you said they're quietly building what does that even mean? They're not. Their defense isn't like one of the best defenses in the league or anything like that. That's what you're making it sound like. And they're not going to beat the Rams, especially if Aaron Donald comes back. But
Aaron Donald,
based on
we have no intel that he's going to make his way back.
Based on the heat of the take, though, that's a solid B plus.
I'm gonna give you a B minus. It is A plus on the heat, and I do think the Cowboys can come out of the division on top. But I have a couple words for you here. 4 playoff wins since 2000, bud. I got. Other than that, I don't think they can do much to win the division.
I was going for heat. That was me. That was my resume submission to the 4-letter network. I can talk Cowboys, guys. All right, Jaden, off to you.
All right. If the NFL has a supplemental draft, a team will drop a first-round pick on Brandon Sorsby.
I'm left wanting more from this take. I'm left wanting another. I feel like I need an onion. I need another layer to this. So I'm gonna have to dock Jaden for that. Accuracy wise, no, I don't think any team is gonna drop a first round pick for him. So I would dock for that. I think this is a C plus. I think this is a C plus take.
I'll give it a C plus. I'll be kind and give it a C plus as well.
I failed another week, boys.
My take also is about Brendan Sorsby. All right, and we've only seen the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Brendan Sorsby and his gambling. Listen to what Ron Slavin, Sorsby's agent, told a Dallas radio station yesterday about the University of Cincinnati. Quote, if anybody should be questioned or catching heat, it should be Cincinnati. Why? Because they knew for 2 years and never said anything or didn't do anything about it. That's the part of the story that gets lost, end quote. USA Today reported that the Cincinnati Athletic Department was alerted in August of last year that Sorsby was gambling prior to the season, and yet Sorsby went on to play that season for Cincinnati. My take is this: Cincinnati is going to get hammered by the NCAA because we've only just seen the tip of the iceberg. Once the NCAA really looks into this, Cincinnati will be a bigger villain than Texas Tech in this saga.
Woo. That has teeth. That has accuracy. A lot of research. Got to peel the onion throughout. I think that's an A+ take. It's good.
Yeah, I'm also going to give that an A+. I can't really discredit that.
Yeah. Mike brought it. Eat.
Boom. Boom.
Well
I
done.
promise I'm hitting the button, but it's just not
Let's
working.
go back to my room.
Come on, button. A D- on the button pressing. There it is. That's not the one. He got an A+.
Yeah, I know. That was not working.
Oh, that
so
was
I gave the wall a D. Yeah.
That
Let
right.
me just say, boom, boom, boom. Let's go back to my room. And we get to it all right.
I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellent.
There it is. All right. A day late and $1 short on that. All right. Great the take. I got a B. Jaden got a C+. And Bianchi has won this round with an A+. Up next, everything is lined up for Scotty Scheffler to complete the career Grand Slam this weekend at the U.S. Open. What's he got to do to get a dub at Shinnecock? We'll check in with Whit Watson on the way next.
U.S. Open golf this weekend, then World Cup soccer. Let's bring in our golf insider, the great Whit Watson, formerly of ESPN, the Golf Channel, now the host of the most critically acclaimed golf show on radio, Making the Cut, which you can listen to every Saturday morning right here on FM 96.9, The Game in Orlando and Jacksonville. You can listen at AM 930, Fox Sports Radio. Whit Watson, how are you?
I love the way you say that, Mike. Critically acclaimed. That's the word to use. I'm gonna split my time. I've really been enjoying watching the World Cup, but obviously the U.S. Open and being at Shinnecock, which is such a fantastic venue, is going to capture a lot of my eyeballs this weekend.
Before we get into the U.S. Open, tell us about the great golf ball rollback that was agreed to today. The USGA started it. I guess the PGA Tour and the DP World Tour today said they are on board with it. So they're gonna have a golf ball rollback in 2030. What's the big controversy? The golf ball's flying too far and they want to limit it?
Well, the big controversy, the whole reason that thing ever got brought up was really in reference to the pro game, that people thought that professionals, and I don't think this, but whoever decides on, the RNA and the USGA, et cetera, were concerned about the distances that players could hit it off the tee. And they felt like some of the iconic golf courses that have hosted not only majors, but also regular tour, PGA Tour and DP World Tour events were being rendered irrelevant because of the distance that players were hitting it. So the idea was to reconstruct the golf ball so that you couldn't hit it as far. I've never been a fan of that, Mike. I'd love to know what you think about it. I kind of feel like if the technology is that good with the drivers and the irons, if the athletes are that good, if they're strong enough and they hit it that far, then tough is kind of how I felt about it. But yeah, there's been this rollback thing, the overall distance standard, they're calling it the ODS, to try to reconstruct the golf ball to bring it a little shorter. First of all, I don't think anybody who's watching pro golf cares, and I don't think it benefits the recreational player because none of us are trying to get shorter. We're all trying to get longer, right? Like have you ever played with somebody in a Sunday foursome who complains about hitting it too far? No, of course you haven't. So it's a thing that affects the pro game, but I've never been in favor of it, and I guess now it looks like this might actually happen.
Yeah, I guess they've decided on it. So anyway, all right, to the U.S. Open, obviously the biggest storyline, Scotty Scheffler. Can he have the career Grand Slam? Can he win it? I guess Tiger Woods, if Scheffler does it, Tiger Woods would have been the only guy who did it quicker than Scotty Scheffler. So he's playing for history.
Yeah, and he'll certainly be a favorite. Shinnecock Hills is a golf course that rewards accuracy and rewards patience. The greens are very fast. The golf course laid out on the eastern end of Long Island was designed to take advantage of the wind, the prevailing wind pattern, meaning like there are certain holes that are easier, certain holes that are harder. And, Scheffler, I think he's as good of a favorite as anybody. I would also remind people that Rory McIlroy has finished second at the U.S. Open in 2 of the last 3 years at 2 very different golf courses. Los Angeles Country Club, when Wyndham Clark won it in 2023, and Pinehurst, when DeChambeau won it in 2024. So I would put Scheffler certainly a favorite, but I would keep an eye on McIlroy. Now that he's completed the career Grand Slam +1, Mike, he's got nothing on his shoulders anymore. I think he's playing for house money this week.
We're talking to Whit Watson from Making the Cut. It seems like I don't like to overgeneralize any sport, but it feels like whenever we get into one of these big time events, the signature golf events, the majors, there's so much talent in the field right now. I always hear, "Oh, this event is wide open." How hard is it to analyze how you think this thing may play out when there's so much talent week to week? There's so many guys that are capable of winning this event because of how great they are, because of the current form that some of the guys are in. It just seems like, is it overgeneralizing the sport of golf to say that this field and pretty much every week is wide open?
No, I wouldn't say this field is wide open. I think there's about 10 people that can win it. I think that major championships are hard. The pressure is different. A little experience probably helps, and that's why, you're seeing the betting favorites are guys like Scheffler, McIlroy. Patrick Reed has shown up on a lot of boards as a favorite. He's won a Masters. He's competed in major championships. Yes, there is a lot of talent, but guys playing for majors, that's a whole different ballgame. And while I do agree with the concept that it's wide open at a lot of events, it's not wide open at a U.S. Open. There's basically a handful of guys that might win it. And the answer always is, don't miss the fairway, don't miss the green, don't make a big number. So go back and look at the stats and figure out who those guys are, and those are your contenders.
Definitely not going to see low scores in this one. What's your final, the winner, whoever that may be? Rory, Scotty, Cam Young, I've seen people pick. What do you think the winning score is for this golf event?
BK, it entirely depends upon the weather. It depends upon if the wind is blowing or not blowing. If it's calm, it brings a lot more players into it. If it's a steady hum, like it usually is at Shinnecock, you got to look at ball strikers. So I'll give you Scheffler. I'll give you Rory. I'll give you John Rahm. Bryson DeChambeau has been horrible at majors this year. Terrible. I'm not a big fan of his this week. Wyndham Clark is red hot. Guys that can hit it straight and weather the weight of a major championship. Those are the guys I give you.
All right, last one for me. Scotty Scheffler is the odds-on favorite to win this one, and he is the story coming into the tournament. He needs this win to complete the career Grand Slam. He's a big dad guy. It's Father's Day weekend, and it's his birthday on Sunday. So the narratives are aplenty for Scotty Scheffler, but he hasn't been winning this year. We haven't seen him win since the start of the golf year. Is he in a bit of a swoon right now? Is it fair to say that Scotty is not in peak form and that maybe what we saw from him last year, the last couple of years, was a great run, but not somebody that we should expect to see win every other week?
Well, I mean, the years that he's put together the last couple of years have been historic, right? And this year he did win the American Express to start the year. He tied for third at Phoenix. He tied for fourth at Pebble Beach. He was second at the Masters. He was second at the Cadillac, which was a signature event. And he was third at the CJ Cup, Byron Nelson. And he was 12th at Memorial, T12. So, I mean, for anybody else that hasn't set that bar that high, you might look at it as a swoon. But the fact of the matter is, the guy is the best player in the world right now. I mean, he and McIlroy are 1-2, right? So I wouldn't call it a swoon. I just think that there may be a little bit of extra attention on him to win this U.S. Open and complete that career Grand Slam, as you mentioned. But if he doesn't, I mean, the guy is still number one in the world. So I would love it for him, but I don't think he's swooning.
Whit, all I'm going to tell you is keep an eye on the 340 to 1 long shot Andrew Putnam this week. He will be on the leaderboard at some point, and hell, he might win the whole thing. Andrew Putnam. Remember that name, Whit Watson.
I'm coming back at you. Robert McIntyre, the lefty, has been kissing. He's been so close at majors, was second at the U.S. Open behind J.J. Spawn last year. Robert McIntyre, low piano. That's who I got.
There you have it. Whit Watson, check out his critically acclaimed, wildly popular show, Making the Cut, every Saturday morning, 9 a.m., right here on FM 96.9 The Game in Orlando, AM 930 Fox Sports Radio in Jacksonville. Whit, we look forward to listening on Saturday. Thank you.
Fairways and greens, brothers.
Great time of the year. Mike, I know that the only reason you're picking this Putnam character is because his last name is the same as the county that you grew up in.
That's right, Putnam County, baby.
Nailed it. Up next, we got more from all of you, more from the game heads, texts, talkbacks, all of that. We had someone that created a new theme song for us using AI. None of us have heard this yet. We will debut that next.
Game on with Bianchi and Kravitz. We'll be right back after this.
Bow, bow, bow. My God.
Spring has sprung. Summer is here. The bugs are out. Zap them with Burn Pest Control. They stopped by the house today. Thank you for the professional and swift service. Burn Pest, family owned and operated with over 30 years of experience in the termite and pest control industry. Contact Joe directly, 321-297-7985, or go to burnpest.com. The thing I like about Burn Pest is that they're one of those companies. These are the ones I like to partner with. The ones that are not pushy with their sales. That stuff bothers me. Burn Pest Control, not like that. They come to do their job. You won't even know they're here. All right, let's dig into it. We have...
Yeah, you will. Yeah, you will. About a day later when you see those bugs on their back with their legs up in the air.
Going, help me. I'm dying. Die then.
We are not talking bugs today, though, Mike. We are talking goats. It's Goat Week here on... What? Are you already playing me off, Jaden? I was just getting into my groove. I was just getting into it. Well, don't worry, because we have plenty of interaction to get to at the top of the 5 o'clock hour. We'll be doing
45.
that. I told you that we had someone who created a new theme song for us using AI. Now, this doesn't mean that we're going to use it every day, but I at least want to hear what it sounds like. None of us have listened to it yet, so we will debut that around the bend. We also have another round of Bet It or Forget It to get to. And who is the UCF GOAT? We will get to all of that in the 5 o'clock hour. Top story of the day.
20.
If you are following on YouTube, we're actually going to keep it rolling because I got a late start. So don't worry. You can hang out with us on the video feed. We'll pause for a moment. Let the talented folks at Fox Sports Radio get you all caught up with the latest in sports. Back in 60 seconds, here's what you need to know. Go!
With Bianchi Kravitz.
My God.
5 o'clock hour brought to you by Gomez Plumbing, celebrating 40 years in business as your trusted plumber. 407-322-0042. You can catch us this week, end of the week. Great way to finish out the work week over at Castle Irish Pub on Friday. We'll be there starting at 3 p.m. Team USA versus Australia, mate. It's game 2 of group play for Team USA in the World Cup. Bianchi and I will be there. We will, if you're not able to make it out to Castle Irish Pub, you will hear us here and there. We're airing the game live on 96.9 The Game in Orlando, but we are going to do cut-ins, as Bianchi has said, inside the NBA style. We're going to be like Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal with our analysis.
Somebody just texted in, will this week be the best week for content this summer for you guys? Sweeney being introduced as the Magic coach on Thursday, plus USA soccer game starting when you guys start on Friday. Will it be the best week for content of the summer?
Not a lot of stiff competition out there, Mike. They might be onto something.
Although when training camp is still in the summer, NFL training camp, college training camp, SEC media days. I don't know if this is the best week. But for the best week, non-football related, until football starts ramping up, right?
I mean, I think it's even better than that. I think we can contrive.
Wait. You think it's better than football ramping up?
I think as far as natural, non-forced topics, things that are actually happening, just because the players are practicing, then you decide that you're going to talk about the Dolphins more, the Bucks more, the Jags more, but nothing's actually occurring. They're just, hey, they're practicing. Let's have a Jags topic. Like, there's nothing that's actually happening. They're just practicing. Right now, Team USA is playing real games that matter a lot. This week, Sean Sweeney is the new head coach of the Magic. He's being introduced this week. That is that's a real, live, tangible thing that is happening that you can then talk about. Not, hey, the Jags are practicing. How good do you think Trevor Lawrence is going to be this year?
Talking about, hey, Scott Frost talking at the Big 12 media days. That's a real live something. Scott Frost talking about the team. John Sumrow at SEC media days. That's real live. The new Gator coach getting ready for his first season.
SEC media days that is a good week of content in the summer. But this is, I think there is an argument to be made. Now, only if we're not counting anything that happened before, because we were in the thick of the NBA postseason and Sean Sweeney was hired. So you had Jamal Mosley let go. You had a new coach that was then the speculation of who the new coach would be. Then you had a new coach hired, and you had NBA playoff games to talk about. So if that counts as summer, we've already seen that come and go. That was the best portion of content.
And plus, Sean Sweeney, yes, he's going to be introduced, but we've already talked about him a lot when he was named.
Okay. I just want to, Jaden, can you clip that and remind Mike on Thursday that he's sort of bored and over the idea of talking about Sean Sweeney when he is.
I'm not.
No, you're going to be so wooning over this guy after Thursday. We're going to interview him. He's going to have his introductory press conference.
Yeah,
we can show Sean the clip of Bianchi saying he's tired of talking.
Sean Sweeney. Tomorrow he'll be like, I love him so much. I think I might ask him to be my roommate.
If he gives me good press conference tomorrow, yes, you would be correct. But it better be good.
It's going to be good. I think he's a fiery guy. England, Croatia at the halftime break. They are all knotted at 2. Austria took down Jordan just as we suspected.
Another draw. Woo, yeah, the content. All these draws in the World Cup. They're exciting. Wow.
Cristiano Ronaldo and his Portugal teammates could only manage one against Congo. So they
score that one?
That was 1-1.
1-1. There you go.
It is draw. You would think you're at an art festival with all the draws that we have. I'm sure that won't help with the text that we're getting that we're spitting on the beautiful game. So I've been teasing this now for the last 15, 20 minutes. I need to hear this. I was sent an MP3 on Facebook from friend of the show, Adrian, who said he was bored at work and created a new intro for us. And I downloaded it, didn't listen to it. I then emailed it to Jaden, and I said in the email, don't listen to this. I want a raw reaction from all of us. Hopefully it's clean. I think it is. Adrian's a family man. I don't think he's out here creating dirty intros. But, all right, Jaden, fire it up. Let's hear the new Game On introduction created by AI.
3 p.m. there is only one thing to tap. Time to turn on that iHeart radio app. It's BK Bianchi and the prodigal son. Get ready for 3 hours of fun. Orlando Sport Talk when you're on the run. Let's get it going. It's now time for Game.
I could not love that any more than I do. That was great.
I think it's awful.
That was great.
I'm not Bianchi. My name's not Bianchi.
You're right. Should have said Danny DeVito.
It's not Bianchi. Who the hell's Bianchi? It's Bianchi.
Oh,
It's
10
not
out of 10.
Bianchi.
10 out of 10. That was so good. Jaden, what do you think?
I'm with Bianchi. I appreciate the theme song, but I'm with Bianchi. I give it like a 2.
That sounded like a that sounded like a 90s In Sync song. I would listen to that.
Play it one more time.
3 p.m. There is only one thing to tap. Time to turn on that iHeart Radio app.
That's good.
It's BK Bianchi and the prodigal son. Get ready for 3 hours of fun.
It's true.
Orlando Sport Talk when you're on the run. Let's get it going. It's now time for game on.
Oh, a little crescendo? Come on. That's great.
And what is the prodigal Bianchi and the prodigal son? What the hell's a prodigal son?
It's like a prodigy.
No, they did us dirty. They did us real dirty.
No, the prodigal son is not a prodigy. Prodigal son is like some biblical thing where some bitter son. Are you bitter and remorseful?
Yeah, he's bitter and remorseful. He didn't learn how to ride a bike.
Hey, that has nothing to do. That has nothing to do with the theme song here.
A biblical story of a father who welcomes back his wayward son with love and celebration. Come on, that sounds like Jaden. I think that's a home run. I think we should open every day with that, and then into the intro.
Bianchi, hey Bianchi, what you doing?
Well, thank you, friend of the show, Adrian. We got the initial text says AI theme song sucks. Well, create your own. Let's make a little competition.
I actually thought it started out well. The iHeart Radio app, that little rhyme.
Yeah, the rhyme was great. And then the way that they tied in Game On at the end. And I love the way that it ends with the crescendo.
And the voice, that you can make your voice sound like that with AI. That's good.
I think that's an AI voice. I don't even think that's a voice turned good from AI. I think that's just it really renders boy bands useless because that was as good as any of the crap that I listened to in the early 2000s.
Are there actual songs out there now? Aren't there like AI, like fake artists that are putting out hits now or something?
Probably.
Yeah, record labels are actually not even paying people now. They're just making AI artists so they don't have to pay people.
That's bad. That's really bad. Somebody said, love the new theme song. I especially love the Bianchi part.
It wasn't even Bianchi. It was Bianchi.
Bianchi. All right, Mike, let's see. Somebody said, why is Danny DeVito so upset?
I'm not Danny DeVito either, okay? I've got at least 3 inches on Danny DeVito. I'm Danny DeVito.
Okay. Did you hear that? He said it. Somebody asked, will you be asking any questions in relation to the blown leads in the finals? I know he was just an assistant head coach, but wanted to get his thoughts on the philosophy of large leads and maybe a tie-in on how Magic fans know the pain of Game 6. Mike, you're the bulldog. Will you intimated it that this could be a problem earlier in the week.
Rick Sweeney, were you to blame for the worst playoff meltdown in the history of the NBA Finals?
Yeah. Did you whisper in Mitch Johnson's ear, hey, do you want to start coaching this team anytime soon? Good thing I'm going to Orlando. This place is a train wreck.
I'll ask it in a tactful way. Absolutely.
Okay. It's a good question. All right. Keep them coming. 50857. Thank you to friend of the show, Adrian. Actually, Jaden, if you don't mind, get rid of that music. Let's play. Yeah. Let's play out into commercial break with our new AI theme song.
3 p.m. There is only one thing to tap. Time to turn on that iHeart Radio app. It's BK Bianchi and the prodigal son. Get ready for 3 hours of fun. Orlando Sport Talk when you're on the run. Let's get it going. It's now time for Game On.
It's a one of a kind. Now I'm going once.
Going twice. I'm sold to Bianchi on the radio.
So the latest twist in the ongoing Brendan Sorsby saga has seen the quarterback now declare his intent to get into the NFL supplemental draft for 2026. I think the deadline is coming up in about 5 days, June 22nd. And the question is anybody interested in the Texas Tech quarterback who previously played at Cincinnati in Indiana? Considering how light this past 2026 draft was for quarterbacks, I think there were only 2 quarterbacks taken on the first day, I believe. Yeah, only 2 quarterbacks taken in the first round this past draft.
Yeah, it was Mendoza and Ty Simpson.
That's right. And Ty Simpson was a surprise. There are a lot of teams in the market for a quarterback of the future. Off the top of my head, the Arizona Cardinals, the Cleveland Browns, who else? The Jets, the Steelers, and
Dolphins.
Ravs, your Miami Dolphins. Your Miami Dolphins, even though, they just invested in Malik Willis, the Packers free agent, although I think he's only got like a 2-year guaranteed contract, so they could easily draft a quarterback of the future. The question is, will they show any interest in Sorsby? You know my feeling on Sorsby. I mean, I'm not going to touch the guy. Certainly not with an early round pick. Now, if you want to tell me, Kravitz, your Dolphins will invest a 4th round pick, maybe even a 3rd round pick, I might say, okay. The Dolphins have quite a few picks coming up in the next draft, so I wouldn't be so against that, but certainly not a 1st or a 2nd rounder. Tell me you're not interested in that.
I don't know if I can get down with a 1st round pick because the Dolphins are going to have such a high pick. That would be foolish. But a 2nd round pick, I could be sold on that. The Dolphins are not alone, and part of this is the competition. I'm glad that you brought that up. You brought up some of the obvious teams, but we know that the NFL throws surprises at us every year. CJ Stroud has not signed an extension with the Houston Texans. If his play goes south, that could be a team that's looking for a quarterback. What if Daniel Jones was just a blip and it turns out he turns back into a pumpkin for a whole year? The Colts could be looking for a quarterback. What if Tyler Shuck actually sucks? The Saints could be looking for a new quarterback. What if Jackson Dart's head rolls off of his shoulders because he can't stay out of the line of fire? So the competition could be endless next year. If you can get ahead of that, that is massive. Now, there's also the cap ramifications here because no team in the league needs a low-cost, easy win at quarterback quite like the Miami Dolphins after what happened with Tua. Released by Miami, and that then resulted in $99 million in dead cap space that they can try and spread out over a couple of seasons. The Dolphins have $179 million in dead cap this year. That is $60 million more than the second place team in that discussion, who's the Cleveland Browns, who signed one of the dumbest contracts of all time, Deshaun Watson, who counts against that. It is unfathomable how much money they are spending on nothing. And so they have to do this. You first of all, it's cap friendly. You also eliminate the need to lose because you would have a quarterback of the future. You wouldn't be angling for the first pick. That allows them to build a winning culture with a new GM and a new head coach. And then you're probably still going to suck. You have a top 5 pick. Use it on Jeremiah Smith, the wide receiver out of Ohio State, rather than an Arch Manning type. And there you go. This is the formula.
Talk. This is crazy talk is what this is. You're talking about the Miami Dolphins rolling the dice, so to speak. All right? Rolling the dice. I hate to use a gambling term here, but rolling the dice and counting on Brendan Sorsby, a gambling-addicted quarterback, putting all their stock in him as their quarterback of the future. This guy's one bet away from never playing in the league again. One bet away from never playing in the league again. it's not just like, Brendan Sorsby's the leader of your team. He's the quarterback. You want your quarterback to have great judgment. Brendan Sorsby doesn't have good judgment, at least off the field. Good God, Kravitz. It's not like he just suddenly became a gambling addict after placing one bet. He placed hundreds, maybe thousands of bets. He knew the ramifications, and he did it anyway. No. You can't bet your future on this guy.
You don't, but that's the beauty of it, is you don't have to bet your future on it. All you have to do is bet a draft pick.
You just said, hey, if you get him, you don't have to lose. You can build a winning culture. Well, maybe the Dolphins do need to lose so they can actually get a decent quarterback in the future with good judgment, not Brendan Sorsby.
I want to be very clear, because we don't know that he is still an active addict with the sports betting. It would be like saying that because Darren Waller, who was an admitted alcoholic at one point in his life, is still an ongoing alcoholic. I know this is always a battle, but it's not necessarily one that he's not an active drinker. He was also on the Miami Dolphins, by the way, and prior to that, he was a Pro Bowler. So guys can't. Why is it that with a gambling addiction, we are acting like that's a stain that you can't remove from your shirt? You could go get help. You can get better. And then, you know what? If it doesn't work out, then they're right back to where they started, which is rebuild for the last 30 years of my life. I think that there's no team in the league that needs a win like this more than Miami. There are going to be teams lined up. I already saw it. Pete Thamel was on the McAfee show and said every single team is going to be at his pro day. There are going to be bids for Brendan Sorsby. The guy's talent is through the roof. He's a top 3 quarterback. I think he would have been drafted somewhere in the range of where Arch Manning, Dante Moore out of Oregon, and Sorsby. Those probably would have been, in some order, the first 3 quarterbacks taken. You would have had to spend a top 10 pick on the guy if he didn't have this issue. Now he does, and you could spend a 2 just to speculate on it and then see where it goes from there.
Hey,
and if you still want to draft a quarterback, they probably will still have a top pick. Get another one, let them battle it out, and figure it out next year.
If you want to get first of all, I still don't think that there's even going to be a supplemental draft for Brendan.
Well, I hope that there is, because I want to see this. But I think that
you want him on your team.
I do, and I admit that it's a gamble, but scared. You know what the old great Billy Napier once said, Mike? Scared money don't make money. Okay.
Well, Billy Napier, he lost a lot of money at the University of Florida, and the Miami Dolphins will lose a lot of money on Brendan Sorsby.
Let us know what you think. 50857 is how you can reach us on the Mills Air text line. More of your favorite afternoon show returns right after this.
Game on with Bianchi and Kravitz. We'll be right back after this.
I know the idea of a routine checkup to your AC system doesn't sound like an exciting endeavor, but what it can save you from pushes it right to the top of the priority list. Mills Air can save you from unexpected breakdowns and repairs, and it always happens when you least expect it. So do yourself a favor and join the club of cool customers over at Mills Air. Heating, cooling, installation, and maintenance, they make the process simple, effective, and affordable for all. They've been good to me for years, and it's because of their professionalism and high quality that my AC is one thing I never have to worry about at my house. Major stress relief. Whether your AC is barely hanging on or it's completely tapped out, Mills Air gets you back to feeling crisp, cold, and comfortable fast. Call Leon and the crew, schedule your appointment, and tell them that Brandon Kravitz from Game On sent you by. 407-277-1159. Visit their website at millsair.com and be their next cool customer.
Guys, let's be honest. When your energy drops, your focus fades, and your performance slips, it doesn't just affect one part of your life. It hits everything. Your workouts, your work, your confidence, and yes, your relationship. That's why I trust Florida Center for Hormones and Wellness. This isn't a pill mill or a testosterone drive-through. It's a full-service medical practice helping men optimize everything: hormones, blood flow, recovery, sexual performance, even weight loss. Dr. John Carrazella, a Yale-trained expert with decades of medical experience, leads the team. They'll find what's off, fix it safely, and get you performing at your best again in the gym, at work, and yes, in the bedroom. Mention my name and get $50 off a new patient consultation or 10% off any service or product. It's time to reclaim your strength and confidence and get your edge back. Visit hormonesofwellness.com/bulldog and tell them Mike Bianchi, the Bulldog, sent you. That's hormonesofwellness.com/bulldog.
Looking for 0% financing? Welcome to the home of 0% Bill Ray Nissan. Right now, get 0% APR or up to $4,000 customer cash on Rogue, Pathfinder, or Murano. Need to keep your payments low? Talk to a lease specialist today. Upside down on your current vehicle? Relax. Bill Ray Nissan always finds a way. Credit challenges? We've got lending programs for everyone. Where other dealers say no, Bill Ray Nissan says yes. See dealer for details. At Bill Ray Nissan, our price includes all dealer fees. No surprises. Bill Ray Nissan on 1792. BillRayNissan.com.
Kick off the summer with a stress-free way to sell your home with the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. You'll save time, make the most money, and eliminate all the hassle. Hi, this is Mark Spain. The guaranteed offer
or forget it.
I got
5 o'clock hour rolls along. Time for the world famous daily segment, Bet It or Forget It. Top stories in a flash, brought to you by my brand new podcast channel, The Florida Line, the only sports betting podcast focusing solely on the state of Florida. I might need to have a Rays exclusive episode tomorrow because this team is falling apart at the seams.
Yep.
Go and check it out.
Just how we like it. Just how we like it. Let them lose. Tampa gets disgruntled with them, not build them a stadium, and come on over.
They say, that's enough. This team sucks anyway. Let them go. Let them walk. They're losing right now 5-4 to the LA Dodgers in the bottom of the 8th. Jaden, hit the music. Big story out of Boston. The Scottish fans have dried out the New England region. They are out of beer, at least out of the popular Sam Adams lager. Bet it or forget it. The Scots are doing it right. You always drink the beer or the cocktail that is synonymous with the region that you are in. Like if you're in Mexico, you have a margarita.
No, forget it. No.
If you're in Ireland, you have a Guinness.
No, forget it. I've been in Ireland. I was there when UCF played, and I went to the hotel bar, and I said, okay, I'm in Ireland. I'll get a Guinness. And I got the Guinness, and I drank about 3 sips of it. And I said, do you have a Miller Lite?
And they said, leave our country.
They laughed at me. But they did pour me a Bass Ale, which was much better than the Guinness. So forget it. No. By the way, I did find I'll tell you later. I did find a IPA that I actually like.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited to hear about this.
Compliments of Chris Vasquez.
Well done, Chris. World Cup action yesterday did not disappoint. Messi went wild. Mbappe, how do you pronounce his name again? Mbappe? Mbappe was sensational. Bet it or forget it. Now that the stars have arrived, the World Cup has caught 100% of your attention as a sports fan.
100%?
100%. You're all in.
No. I told you. I'll be watching much more U.S. Open golf this weekend than I'll be watching the World Cup. Not that I'm not going to watch the World Cup and Team USA on Friday. In fact, we're having the watch party Friday. But no, I mean, I'm still more interested in the sports I'm interested in. I'm more interested in majors golf. I'm more interested in football, basketball, baseball.
You have those every year. This comes around once every 4 years. This is like the equinox. It's like the solar eclipse. You have to put your routine to the side, Mikey.
When the Olympics come on in the middle of, when football season's cranking up, I'm still more interested in football season. Sorry. The Olympics come around every 4 years as well. I'm still more interested in football.
Harry Kane scored in the 12th minute. England is up 3-2 on Croatia. Buccaneers coach Todd Bowles acknowledged that Pro Bowl defensive tackle Vita Vea is a minicamp hold-in. I think that means that you're at practice. You're electing not to do anything at practice. Baker Mayfield has his own contract issues. Bet it or forget it. The vibes are low in Tampa, and you worry that the bottom could fall out this season.
I'm going to bet that. I'm going to bet it.
I do not have a good feeling about the Bucs this year.
Yeah, they're, obviously Mike Evans left of his own accord when he probably could have come back and made just as much money in Tampa, but he chose to leave. To me, that's a bad sign when your legendary wide receiver says, you know what? I don't really want to be here anymore. I don't think this team's going anywhere, because that's the message I got when Mike Evans left. And then you have the Baker Mayfield contract squabble. Levante David's gone. They're sort of going through a little, what did you call it a week or so ago? A silent rebuild or
If that's not what I said, I'm going to switch it to that because I think that is that it's a brilliant explanation. I don't know if I can be credited for that, but a silent rebuild does feel like what Tampa is doing.
Right. So,
well, let's stay with Tampa then. The Rays have lost 4 of their last 5. They are on the cusp of losing 5 of their last 6 if they can't score a couple of runs here at the end of the game against the Dodgers. They've now fallen a couple of games behind the Yankees in the AL East. Bet it or forget it. The early season success of this team was a fluke, and you have now lost your faith in their ability to make the playoffs. Mind you, there's 92 games left, so there's a little bit of time.
I mean, there's still, but bet it. Nobody thought before the season. Nobody thought the Rays were going to be some contending team, and they shocked everybody coming out of the box, and they were playing really well. They were the hottest team in the league, but when you look at their roster, does their roster really stack up with the best teams in the league? Probably not. So, and the Rays have made it. Don't get me wrong, the Rays have had rosters in the past that weren't as good as the contending teams in the league, and they were contenders, but I don't know. It just seems like the water is coming to settle where it should settle, which is the Rays are a mediocre ball club.
Right. They're good smelling candle with not a lot of wax. And I feel like the wax has perhaps run out. The Rays, as well coached as they are, they have great starting pitching. 25th in bullpen ratings, 28th in defense, 30th out of 30 in home runs. That is where the Tampa Bay Rays are. So water
always finds its level, and the water level in Tampa is drying up.
Said like a true biologist. U.S. Open this week. Scotty Scheffler is the man of the hour. He's the favorite. He is a dad golfing on Father's Day, which is the dream. And it's his birthday. Bet it or forget it. This is a must win for Scotty Scheffler.
What are you talking about?
Father's Day, birthday, complete the career Grand Slam, must win. And he hasn't won since the start of the year. This is a must win. This is a time is nigh tournament for Scotty.
First of all, there are no, it's golf. There are no must wins.
Usually there's not. Okay? This is a must win.
And I would venture to say like probably 90% of the tour are fathers. So it's a must win for the 90%.
Yeah, but he's like part of his fame and his brand is that he's a dad. That's the point.
It is?
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. Scotty's a big dad guy.
Well, that was part of Tiger Woods' fame too when he was living in Orlando before that fateful Thanksgiving night. Well, look at what a great family man he is. And I'm not saying Scotty's like Tiger. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, Scotty has gone to jail though, so they've got.
That's right.
It is go. Did you
bet it or forget it?
Did you forget it? By the way,
bet it or forget it. Going to jail was the best thing that ever happened for Scotty Scheffler's fame and his street cred.
Bet it. It is GOAT Week here on Game On. We have discussed UCF today. Not a lot of pushback on KZ being the guy. You said Dante Culpepper. We've seen him get some love on the text line, but where is the love for Kevin Smith, owner of arguably the most dominant single season by any player in UCF history? He rushed for over 2,500 yards in 2007, 29 touchdowns. That was second only to Barry Sanders. And he led the Knights to their first conference championship. Bet it or forget it. He deserves a bigger nomination here. Kevin Smith, perhaps the top of the line.
Bet it. I mean, George O'Leary ran that guy into the ground, probably ruined his NFL chances by carrying 39 times a game or whatever he carried the ball during that record-breaking season. He was incredible that year. I mean, what a workhorse he was. I mean, good God, over 2,000. What did he have? How many yards did he have?
It was 2,567.
Yeah, and I don't remember. It was an obscene amount of carries.
He had like 40 carries a game.
Yeah,
crazy.
he was, and yeah, he just got ran into the ground that year, but he was remarkable, and yeah, led him to the conference championship. Bet it, Kevin Smith deserves more love, and and where's the love for Shaquem Griffin? On the text.
True. Yeah. Where are you at, guys? All right, last one real quick. Our new AI theme song created by friend of the show, Adrian, called you Bianchi. You were clearly not happy with it.
Bianchi. Not Bianchi. Bianchi.
Well, bet it or forget it. For $50K, you would change your name to Bianchi.
Oh, of course.
All right. For $15K, you would change your name to Bianchi.
What do you mean change?
Like no one
start
calls you
pronouncing-
Bianchi. Yeah, you would correct people who called you Bianchi. You say no, it's actually Bianchi.
For 15K?
15K.
Did it?
How low can I go? How low can I go here? 10K?
That it.
5K?
What's it matter to me? What's it matter
Well,
to
you
me?
seem
what
pretty
people-
upset about it, so I thought there'd be $1 to this, but the $1 Million Man was right. Ted DiBiase. Everybody's got a price, and Bianchi is apparently pretty low. Up next, our last call here on Game
What
On.
if somebody offered you $10,000? Bet it or forget it to change your name to Kravitz.
I would do it for free barbecue. Are you kidding me? Last call here on Game On after this.
Roger.
radio station. Guaranteed human. Orlando's hometown sports station. This is 96.9 The Game, AM 740, and the free iHeart Radio app. Lights are on. Pay your tab. It's final call.
The final call, the last call. You know, it's the end of the show. We're
working on it.
It's the last segment it's been a work in progress since August for us. All right, let's go to the Rage Cage, the iHeartRadio talkback, and hear from Dave.
What is this blasphemy I'm hearing? The other day, Kravitz was a treason. Now Bianchi's a treason. Both of you. I got one hope left. That's the prodigy of production. Is he a patriot like we all should be right now?
My friend, I bet on Canada to beat the U.S. Hockey team during the Winter Olympics.
Oh, yeah. First, who was that just
that was Dave. And Jaden, thank you for admitting that. He's the original turncoat on this show.
Yeah. And there is, what is he talking about? Bianchi's a treason? What does that even mean?
Yeah, because you said you're going to watch the U.S. Open.
But treason is not like a noun. It's not like a person. It's not like
treason.
Bianchi is a treason. Bianchi is a traitor. You could say that. Okay, but not a treason.
You're a treasonist. It's a word that we invented on this show.
1 minute.
All I said was I'm going to watch Team USA, yes, but I'm more interested in U.S. Open golf. U.S. Open, United States Open, our national championship.
Ever heard of it?
Yeah.
40 seconds.
If watching the U.S. Open is a treason, I'll take it.
All right, down with the king, off with his head. Folks, that'll do it for us here on Game On. Thanks for hanging out. Keep up with the show. Find the podcast, Game On the iHeartRadio app. Make us your number one preset, and we can be your first listen in the mornings as well. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Show goes live at 3 p.m. For the prodigy of production, Jaden Grimes, the bulldog, the treason, Mike Bianchi. I'm Brandon Kravitz. Hit him with it, Mikey.
Peace, love, boiled peanuts.
We're out. Go!